Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Tyler Perry's Sistas. So I have been debating on whether or not I was going to combine the last two episodes, and I was forced to do so because things started popping up out of nowhere that were out of my control. They are good things, so just be mindful of that. But anyway, I'm here, and here we go. So this is how this episode and the last episode went. So Karen's men, Aaron and Zach, showed up to Sabrina's house where they were all congregated and wanted to talk to her. Zach specifically. He was just like, look, I was at your apartment cleaning up my blood and old boy popped up. And then I had this realization. I don't know why this realization never happened before now, but I had this realization that every time I look up, old boy pop up, all these situations pop off. And despite that, you still live for him. So that's really helping me to understand that you must really be over me. So I'm done. And he threw the little bag, the little duffel bag at old boy. It was like, I'm out. And then I'm just trying to understand why Zach always feel like he can come up in anybody's place and just run it. He gonna tell Danny, come on, Danny. After he said all the way he said to Karen, and I'm just like, what? You get out. Like, what is going on? But anyway, she ended up eventually going with him, but I was just like, anyway. So Aaron was like, let me talk to you for a minute. Took her to the back. They was talking, and he was like, look, I have a hotel room, and I would love for you to come and stay with me. And so she was like, nah, I'm gonna go home and, clean up. And he was like, nah, I can send the same service who cleaned up the first time to come and clean it up. You could just come and stay with me. You could even have your own little room off to the side. Like, you could have your own room. You ain't gotta worry about being literally in the room with me. It's cool. And so she was just like, look, I'll think about it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And of course, here he come in the typical fashion that a lot of people do when they want to try to kind of nudge you into their direction. And he was like, are you attracted to me? And so she was like, oh, you already know the answer to that. Of course I'm attracted to you. And I'm just like, Lord, why are we going through this? You know what it is. And so it just got to a point where she was like, look, I don't want to be the reason why you end up doing things that you have promised that you won't do, which includes having sex outside of marriage, drinking alcoholic beverages and smoking and things that he used to love that are of the world, I guess you could say. But anyway, yeah, he was just like, look, if I do anything, it's not going to be because it's your fault. So you don't have to worry about that. So anyway, he also let her know that she does not have to worry about her ex-wife's family anymore because he has paid them off and he has signed over the rights to the children over to them. So he has no affiliation with them and there should be no reason for them to roll up on her anymore. And I'm just like, we signing over the rights to the children though? Like, what is, okay. Alrighty though. So yeah, she was just like, look, I just gotta let you know that all of your drama scares me. I've gone through a lot in my life, but all of your drama is what really scares me. And he was just like, you don't have to be scared. And again, he was just like, just come to the hotel, whatever. I'm just like, sir, please stop. So anyway, Danny gets to her apartment and she opens the door and she's like, well, dang. She sees rose petals all on the floor, food in there cooking, and Preston up in there looking good like he always do. And Danny looking, not Danny, Zach looking like, okay, what's going on up in here? So he was just like, did I do something wrong? And so she was like, no, you didn't. And immediately she's trying to get Zach to get up out the house because she's trying to get her some. Because she's just like, what you're not finna do is all of these amazing things and think that something ain't finna go down. And Zach was like, come on, Danny, I gotta take a shower. I have somewhere I gotta go. And she was like, nah. Preston had to be the one to tell her to be like, look, go ahead and let a man take a shower. And he can go. Dang. So they decided up there, ate dinner, and now they're sitting, and she is in her feelings, and they're like, man, what takes so long? It don't take him that long to take no shower. And all of that, y'all, it's a mess. So anyway, he is about to go ahead and leave and go do what he need to do. So after he done left, Preston and Danny starts talking. This is when she really fully understands the family dynamic that he has, which is pretty much non-existent, or he's just there because he's kin to him. They're racist, not including the sister that, you know, kind of nudged him into actually talking to her to begin with. And she was just like, oh no, like, what is going on here? And then he had to let her know, like, I'm not going to talk to them about you right now. I'm not going to talk to them about you until the time is right. So she felt some type of way about it. I'm like, girl, what you in your feelings for? Y'all ain't official. Y'all just screwing around from time to time, and he is showing you these nice gestures. Y'all aren't even boyfriend and girlfriend. So why are you in your feelings that he ain't going around telling his family about you? And you know his family trash. So what would make you think that that is a good idea anyway? Why would you think that he would be happily hopping, skipping, and jumping to go tell them anything? So anyway, I'm just like, I'm gonna need for her to get out her feelings when it comes to that. So anyway, and then she keeps trying to run him, and he looking like, look, don't tell me that you need us to slow down, because the other day, when I was trying to take it slow, you didn't want to do that. And then you over here handcuffing him to the bed and doing the most. And now that he, you know, is all he doing is being nice. I don't even think he really going fast like that, but whatever. Now she over here changing her tune, talking about, you need to slow it down. It's just too fast paced now and all this. And he just tired of his fear. He was just like, look, I'm not playing these games with you. I done played it your way. You gonna play it my way now. So anyway, Karen went to her salon talking to Pam, and that heifer is too nosy for words, and ain't nothing really going on over there. But I'm just like, girl, please stop. Please stop. So anyway, Preston, like I said before, he really wants to get to know her before he ever even tells them that he's dating a black person. Because I'm like, why would he set his own self like that? Because that ain't gonna be nothing but a constant argument. That ain't gonna be nothing but drama. That's gonna be some foolishness. You know, the first thing they gonna say is something slick about them procreating and all that other stuff. Like, come on now, ain't nobody got time. So Andy ended up asking Sabrina if she could spend the night. And so she's like, well, why would you even ask me that? You don't even have to ask me that. And then they start talking, and then lies happen, which are when Andy asked Sabrina, is she stupid? And I was like, yes, we all know you're stupid. You know you're stupid. Why would you ask this question when you know the answer? But anyway, of course, Sabrina gonna lie to her. I'm like, girl, if that's your real friend, why you gotta lie? Tell me the truth. If I'm dumb, tell me I'm a dummy. Yeah, you dumb heifer. You over here, you sat up here and got with this married man. This is a whole married man, and you was sitting up here doing the most with this married man, and then you done got into this situation. Yeah, you dumb. Like, why? Why is we lying? But she sat up there lying. She was like, no, Andy, you're the smartest woman I know. Girl, bye. What was we lying for? And then, like, she gonna get in her feelings, and she started crying, talking about oh, I just want to be respected. I am a black woman. I just want to be respected. Girl, you don't respect yourself. You don't respect yourself. So why do you expect anybody else to respect you? Anyway, y'all. So anyway, it gets to a point when they're talking where Sabrina was like, you know what? This might be a similar situation to something that they've experienced when they were in college, and that she might need to get somebody who can help her to help Gary and to, you know, really fully see if that's what the situation is. So basically, she's thinking that maybe Gary might actually be innocent on the embezzlement side of things or whatever, and it might be a setup. And so she was like, oh my gosh, I don't know why I never thought of this to begin with. So she ends up calling Fatima so that Fatima can get in contact with the PI, Leslie. And while Fatima's on the phone with her, talking to her, she ends up hitting Gary. Not Gary. Gosh, why I always want to say Gary? I ain't even got to him yet, y'all. She ends up hitting Zach while he's on his bike. And so she get off her phone, goes to see if he's all right. His bike is towed out. Anyway, it's a mess. So anyway, he going by his business. I'm like, where is he even at? I completely forgot where he was going. I was like, where is he at? Because he looked like he was just in a random apartment complex. So I was like, where he at? what is going on? Is this him leaving Danny's apartment right now? Oh, okay. But anyway, she ended up getting back in her truck and she started back talking to Andy, called Andy back, and she was like, yeah, everything's all right or whatever. And so they talking. And so she was like, okay, I'll call her. I'm in the middle of doing something, but I'll call her when I get a chance. So anyway, Zach ends up going to that meeting that the guy was telling him about. That's for ex-cons or whatever who have not had situations to pop off with their legal, the legal side of things or whatever. You can't be a repeat offender. That's what I'm trying to say. And he gets in there. It hasn't started yet. The dude was like, I'm glad you made it. Then Fatima comes in right behind him. And so he looking like, what is going on here? Old boy knew who she was, hugged her and all this other stuff, and was like, look, she good people and all of that. And so she's trying to help him to understand that this is a great opportunity. He needs to sign the paperwork now because nobody really gets a chance to get in on that. So the meeting starts and he is talking about some properties, and he was just like, it's like $170,000 in the next project that they have going on, and that they themselves will be able to keep $100,000 of the $170,000 of it. And so he looking like, okay, well, if you ain't got no money, how can you get in on it? And so he was like, sweat equity. And so he was like, sweat equity, what is that? And so he told him that, you put in 80 hours of the labor and all that stuff, and that's how you're able to actually contribute. And so he looking like, well, if you got a full-time job, then what? He was like, hey, look, that's just stuff you got to sort out on your own time, because it is what it is. Because every time that man started talking, Zach kept raising his hand. I was like, bruh, do something else. So anyway, after the meeting is over, Fatima is, offering him a ride home because she really feels bad that she messed his bike up. And, she just really wants to help people out. And she's trying to get Zach to understand that in their community, that they believe in helping one another and all of that. So eventually he was like, all right. Before she walked up, he had gotten on the phone with Pam because Pam called him and was like, hey, I'm sending over some a bottle of champagne and some roses. I know you can't afford all of that. How you able to afford that to go over there? So this heifer is so nosy. And she has eyes like a hawk. I need to know who is her optometrist, because if they do eye surgery, somebody please help me because I'm blind. That heifer saw Karen's key card when Karen dropped by the salon. She saw the key card. She saw the name of the place. She saw the room number. How, heifer? How? But anyway, and she ended up repeating all this exact information off to him, and so he's telling her, take me to this hotel or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the most is going on, y'all. So one thing that I have to point out, this is just random, ain't got nothing to do with the show, but it does. Fatima, girl, I know this is a show. You might not have even been the one who did it, but this is just something that tears my nerves to pieces in real life. Why can't people park within the lines? Why can't people park their cars within the lines? She had her truck all over the line, and then the line she had it over was the one that's on the side where her door is. Why your car over there over the line? I can't do it, y'all. That's just like the other night I went to Kroger to get me some fruit. I back in 99% of the time whenever I go anywhere. So I backed into my parking spot perfectly the way I'm supposed to park or whatever. I come out, somebody's car, here I am, here are my lines. Their car is like diagonal coming into the back of my car. I'm like, hey, you have a small car? I have a big. I'm looking like, look, I have a big car. You have a small car. How is it that you don't know how to park? I don't get it. But anyway, Lord, I'll just be like, what is wrong? That is something that's always been disturbing to me. And I mean, it's people older than me, people my age. I'm talking about y'all have licenses. How are y'all here in this state? You have to be able to parallel park. You have to pass that part of your examination. I didn't have to do that back in the state of Alabama, but y'all don't know how to park. And I don't understand at all. You don't know how to park at a regular parking spot. You don't know how to park in the ones that are slanted. You don't know how to park in the ones that are straight. You don't know how to park and parallel park either in some cases. That's what I don't be understanding. But anyway, I digress. Y'all, that tears my nerves to pieces. It really does. I'm so sorry. Everybody who know me, they die laughing when I talk about this, but I cannot stand it. It's like how, and it be the main people who do this be the ones who have the itty bitty cars. Why you can't? And Kroger has big parking spaces. Why you don't know how to park in this parking spot? But anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. It just tear my nerves down. So anyway, I'm just tired. So anyway, yeah, so he done went into the hotel or whatever. He seen the man who has the roses and the champagne, and he's like, oh, that's for Karen, right? He's really thinking that he gonna get him to open the door for him. He was like, nah, I can't do that. I have to call the room of the occupants and ask them for permission to open the door and all that stuff. He was like, no, that's all right, okay. And so he knocked on the door thinking that they were going to open the door. Room service ended up going away. Because if you don't open the door, they're not going to come. So I'm like, oh, okay, good. I'm glad y'all don't go in there because some places be trying to act trifling. I think that's like lower level places. But he was at some sort of upscale place. So anyway, this fool to sat up here and broke into the room. I'm like, you really not finna sit up here and break into the room, are we? No, he pulled out tools and went into the room. I'm like, what is wrong with? Oh my gosh, this man was in the middle of doing the most to Karen. I was like, why? You ain't doing nothing, Karen. You mean to tell me you ain't doing nothing, Karen? You told me you weren't doing nothing, Karen. So I came up in there and started going off. You told me you weren't doing nothing, Karen. Karen, this is nothing. You ain't doing nothing, Karen. Oh my God, Zach was killing me. But anyway. Y'all, I'm sorry. That part had me die. I really was like, why is we rolling up like we together? Like, we not together. I can screw who I want to screw. I can do what I want to do. Oh my God. So anyway, so the dude who was supposed to be room service ended up coming in and was like, do we have a problem? He was like, yeah, get this man out of here. Aaron going off. She telling him to leave. Oh my gosh. He gonna tell that man, you ain't no police officer. You ain't the police. You don't tell me what to do. I can leave on my own. Oh man, he got hemmed up and he got thrown in jail. I'm like, you dummy. You dummy. Why are you so dumb? I'm tired. So anyway, Sabrina is at the house the next morning and she's trying to wake Andy's dumb behind up because she's in this woe is me moment. And she was just like, oh, I don't want to get up, leave me alone. I was like, girl, what you're not going to do is to yell at me and tell me to leave you alone in my place. Like, no, that's what we're not going to do. But that's what she kept like, no, I don't want to hear it. I'm like, girl. So Sabrina kept trying to give her motivation. And I'm just like, whatever. And she was like, look, you can borrow my credit card. Gave her a credit card. Andy being ungrateful, looking at the card like, I don't know what I'm really supposed to do with this because the credit limit that's on here. As soon as she handled, the way that she was handling that card, I was like, this heifer finna be real uppity. This heifer finna be real uppity, and that's what gets you backhanded. But anyway, she ended up taking Sabrina's whole wallet and was like, yeah, your credit limit ain't gonna be able to do nothing for what I want to buy. I'm just like, girl, that's how you get backhanded. Anyway, Andy is really doing the most. I'm just trying to understand what it requires. All you needed was one outfit to go to the office to talk to old boy. What is the issue? So anyway, Preston ended up doing the same thing Danny did to him the other day, which is he had her handcuffed to the bed. She got in her feelings and was like, you need to unhandcuff me and all this other stuff. So then he said something about gal. And I'm like, heifer, as much country as this man speaks, now all of a sudden you are overly concerned about him using the word gal. She said because he had her handcuffed and all this other stuff, and then he called her gal on top of that, and it was like, you have a racist family and you thought this was okay? He'd have got tired in his spirit. So when she went to the bathroom, he just dipped. He was tired. I don't know if he left to get some air, because it's like, he's being himself. I don't feel like he was being racist in that moment. So I'm like, oh my gosh, girl. Anyway, um, so everything happened with Zach. And what I forgot to mention was when Zach ended up getting hemmed up and arrested and all that stuff, Karen was like, no, I'm done. I'm tired. There's too much going on. He was like, no, you can still stay. You don't have anywhere to go. Your place isn't cleaned up. She was just like, nah, I will go home. I will go home. I would do so. I'll find somewhere to go. Okay, if it's Sabrina's house, I got to get up out of here. I'm tired. And so he was like, you ain't finna go bail him out, are you? She was like, no, forget him. And even if I was finna bail him out, what they got to do with you? She done went all the way off and she left. So anyway, Karen ended up sleeping at her salon. And this is when she eventually finds out that Pam is the reason why Zach knew what was going on and where they were, and the most popped off, and I was just like, girl. So anyway, they finally bring Calvin into this episode, and I'm sorry, I just don't understand. I don't feel like Sabrina is really ready for that type of a relationship. You have to be very, very strong in your femininity and in your relationship and so much more. In your sexuality, I guess, is what the last thing I need to add. For you to be with a man who says that he's straight, but he is so deep into anal play. Whoa, child, I can't. So anyway, he is trying to get the club ready for Maurice's party. It's supposed to be a surprise party. Maurice then popped up, and he looking like, I know it's a party for me. It is what it is. And everybody tired, like, bruh. Sabrina done popped up. Everybody trying to figure out what she doing there, and she lying. And he looking like, why you ain't at work? And she was like, well, I'm going in. I'm about to go. I got a meeting to go to. She has been calling in for a meeting. We don't know whether or not they're about to fire her or what, but she's confident a little bit, you know, that she'll be fine, but whatever. Gary ended up meeting up with old boy, who was the lawyer that Fatima recommended for Andy to meet with to help Gary possibly and all this stuff. That's the dude, Hayden Moss. I knew I was gonna forget it earlier, but that's what his name was. And he's even peeping Gary's nasty disposition and his arrogance and his triflingness and his overly aggressive behavior. Like, he was like, what did y'all do? What y'all mean? What you mean y'all was hanging out? What you mean y'all was together last night? That man was like, we were talking about you. Like, everything he said was about you. Why are you? I'm sorry. I don't care if Gary ends up being innocent on everything else. This man was married, and he is trash as a man who gets so emotionally disconnected and becomes aggressive to the extent that he does. Like, he needs to be alone. She needs to reevaluate the people that she want to be with, because Gary is not it. He one of them ones that'll snatch you up just for saying hello to somebody. Don't nobody have time for that toxic foolishness. Goodbye. Anyway, I hope that he passes that case off to somebody else, because don't nobody want it, and he really was trying to help. He says that he is going to look into it or whatever, but he is done. I'm tired. I hope he passed it off and that Gary end up somewhere. And hopefully by the time he is able to get out, hopefully she will have some sense and will get with someone who actually is worthy of being with somebody like who she should have been before she was getting with him, because what no reason for her to be with him. But anyway, Zach is in jail, and of course the heifer who wants to be his cut buddy is the one who roll up on him. And so he's like, man, I just seen the judge. I got to be at work. This ain't going to work for me. I got to get out of here. I can't be in here. So she looking like, okay, I'm going to need for you to tell me a friend that you can call on to get this $5,000. You got anybody you can call? And he ended up calling Fatima, because Fatima literally just said to him, call me if you need me. Well, he ended up calling her while she was at work, because this is literally the next day. The sun is out now. And he was like, yeah, hey, how you doing? So, remember when you said you'd help me out? Told her the situation. And so she was like, I ain't got time for this. This don't make no sense. I'm at work. I might look into it when I get off work. This is too much for me. Like, everybody tired. Y'all, So the end of the episode, Andy ends up rolling up to the office that she was working in, the firm she was working at, demanding to see her boss, who was the trash dude, because she really suspects that Morris, who was the dude who was screwing Gary's wife, who was a lawyer as well at another firm, and that the three of them had something going on, and they ended up having her in it as well. But it was all a scheme that was against Gary. So she confronted him on it. He tried to act like, nah, that didn't happen. And then when she was like, okay, and she tried to leave the room, he ended up stopping her. He ended up incriminating himself, not knowing that he was being recorded. And he was like, well, what if I told you we'll offer you $1 million? And you could just say that it was unlawful discrimination or something like that. And she was like, no, I wasn't thinking of doing anything like that. Why would I? And, you know, basically trying to make up a situation where she could walk away for $1 million. So then it got to a point where she was just like, just tell me if Gary is innocent or not. And so he was like, I don't have the evidence. All I can tell you is if you do what you're supposed to do and walk away, we'll give you $1 million. So she ends up storming off real quick. I was like, why is she walking so fast? So she ended up walking into this big meeting that was going on. Hayden Moss is up in there as well, but the big boss is up in there. He done went off. He was like, young lady, what are you doing in here? Oh, Lord. She begins to start dropping a dime on old boy. And then he come in there and was like, look, she's lying. Oh, she's lying. I don't know what she's trying to tell you, but she's lying. And she was like, yeah, I thought you'd try to pull this. And she ended up pulling out a tape recorder out of her purse, started playing word for word what was just said. He tightened his spirit. He looking like a fool. He ends up telling both of them to sit down. And of course, as she has already mentioned to Sabrina earlier in the day, that they deal with evidence. You have to be able to provide evidence. She doesn't have evidence because the evidence that she did have, it was in an envelope that had been confiscated during the raid. And so he was like, look, do you mean to tell me that if I could get my hands on that evidence from the raid, that I will find everything that I need? She was like, yes, everything except possibly the stuff dealing with Gary, the money or whatever, but extortion or whatever it is. But if we do some more digging, I'm pretty sure we can find that too. So he was like, oh, okay. So I was waiting, y'all. I pay attention to too much stuff. I was like, she better not. So she was like, okay. So she ended up leaving out the room without the tape recorder. Girl, bye. What is we doing? Did you have 2 tape recorders in your purse or something? Girl, lie. I was like, all right, now. Ain't nobody that dumb. Why are you over here leaving the tape recorder? But anyway, I guess we're supposed to just think that magically it's just going to somehow still save her a little bit, but whatever. Anyway, she leave out. And before she even went back to the back, when Hayden Moss had met up with Gary, he had told Gary, Gary told him that he's working on something for Andy. And he was like, what? Couldn't get no information out of him. But Fatima was sent this package that is supposed to be for her to open. That's for Andy. So she opened it up. It's money. Racks on racks on racks. And so Fatima was about to take that money, and then Andy came in. Fatima was like, wait a minute, this is my future. Oh my gosh, it took everything for Fatima to hand her that box of money. I was like, oh my gosh, because she was like, you know, I have something here for you from Gary. And so she was like, whatever it is, I don't want it. She was like, are you sure? I was like, girl, you know you're wrong. And then when she showed her what it was, she took it. I was like, ma'am. But anyway, this is a mess. I'm tired of everybody. The most is going on. And I just can't. Anyway, y'all, I got to go to work. I hope y'all have a good one. And I might come on here later on if things go the way they should today, because I don't know. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Bye.